Hello and welcome to Heavy Metal Rex. My name is Wace, and today we're going to be looking at an article that came out from Japan a little bit ago that has got a lot of people excited for maybe not the right reasons, and that's the possibility of the Subaru Levorg, which is the wagon WRX, I guess is what you can call it, that's in Japan, might potentially be coming to America in 2026 or 2027. Now, it sounds really exciting, and it's kind of cool to potentially be able to get a wagon, but there are some caveats to this because something that I have spoken to a lot of Subaru, like actual Subaru people and Subaru employees, the reason that the wagon went away, and I know you guys are not gonna like hearing this, is because not enough people were actually buying it. It wasn't until the wagon was gone, much like a lot of really cool cars that Subaru makes, people really weren't interested in it. And then once they didn't have it, everybody wanted one. I am guilty of that myself. If I had the option, I would definitely pick up a 14 STI wagon, or honestly, any generation wagon. I'll even take a narrow body, I don't care. But the Levorg has been really interesting because since the debut of the 2022 WRX, the VB WRX with the updated engine, updated styling, Japan has had their own Levorg, which was also an update from the VA chassis to the VB chassis, using the same engine, the 2.4 liter boxer, the same SPT, CVT transmission, and all the stylings to make a pretty awesome wagon that is unfortunately Japan only and automatic only, or CVT only. Now, this article purports that it's possible that they got some information that the Levorg is getting some sort of like mid-cycle, mid-lifestyle refresh of some kind, possibly a physical appearance change. There's no real information here, unfortunately. But the lines that everybody else, all of the American outlets are pulling from is what I think, if you go back here, it says something here about the US market accounting for 70% of Subaru's global sales, and then that it's likely that this next model lineup will be centered around the American market. Those are the only two lines that I found in this article that even consider the fact that it might be coming, and it's still a might, because it might not. A lot of the other articles like Car Scoops, and Autopian and you know, Car Buzz and all that are taking just those two lines and just kind of blowing it up a little bit. But it is interesting that they would say it. This is actually a car magazine from Japan, and that's where a lot of this information comes out from anyway. But there's a lot more to unpack here for those of you who don't know what a Levorg is. And also, what's interesting is Japan has another wagon that is very similar to a new WRX style, but with a different engine. And also, even the Levorg comes with a different engine. So you guys know that when the 22 came out, the 22 WRX came out, we had that new 2.4 liter boxer engine, which is fantastic, makes 271 horsepower, super tunable, we all love it. But Subaru actually has another engine, and I'll actually show you here in the layback, which is another vehicle that they have. So this is Subaru's Japan website. They have the layback, and then they have the Levorg, which, as you can see, they look very similar. They've got the hood scoop, but there are some stylistic changes. The layback looks, I mean, I wish I could see these cars in person to see exactly what the differences are. But here we'll look at the layback. As you can see from the back, it looks very reminiscent of an Impreza, which I believe those same lights are used on the rear of the Levorg. But what's interesting about the layback, it comes with a much smaller engine, even though everything else of it looks like a WRX wagon in Japan. But this actually looks more Impreza-ish, maybe. This actually comes with a 1.8 liter engine, making 175 horsepower and 224 pound-foot torque at 1800 RPM, which is actually kind of cool. It would give that car a very peppy feel, especially in Japan, where they tend to have smaller roads and whatnot. It's kind of cool, but it still does use the SPT, allegedly. A lot of the translation is just Google translating it, so I can't confirm that. But it would make sense that they would just throw the SPT in there, because I mean, it seems to be doing fine. So that's really interesting. Now, if you look at the Levorg, which is the more, as you can see in this picture, very much that front looks, except for like the bumper and the fender trim, which again is still crazy that we got like the plastic trim and they have this. It looks good, but it is very reminiscent of a 22 plus WRX. Now this one also does get a 1.8 liter engine as well. But the updated, if you look through the trims, there's three trims. There's like the base, there's a STI trim, and there's like a sport trim. These all come with the 2.4 liter engine. So they got the 1.8, and they also does have the 2.4 that we are used to here in America. Now, this of course also just comes with the SPT. We do not get the option of manual, except it's really interesting because I made a video about this, I want to say earlier last year. There was a report, and I still haven't even been able to confirm if this has happened. Subaru was bringing the WRX Wagon to Mexico, possibly with a 6-speed, and this was supposed to be a very limited run of this. And I remember I made this video on it, and I actually cannot, I need to actually go back and find out if this ever made it. I don't believe this has yet. I think it was something that you had to put in an order for, and I haven't heard anything about it. I would imagine if a 6-speed manual wagon WRX actually landed in Mexico, I would have heard about it by now, you know? Unfortunately, you can't import it even if it did, so, I mean, legally at least. So that's something that if a Levorg does come, or in this case a WRX Wagon does come to America and it's automatic only, and Mexico gets a manual one, like what is that gonna look like? How does that shake out? You know, would it be something there, would Americans want that? Is that something that you would actually want? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it works out, because if Americans were not buying wagons, WRX wagons or STI wagons, if Subaru brings the Levorg, I mean, how many are you gonna buy? You know, I know that the automatic is not something that you would want. You would want a manual, and I agree with you. I would want a manual as well, but just the idea of having a Levorg with the painted fenders, or like actually just one-piece fender. It's not even painted fender. It's the Levorg is just a one-piece fender, which is just crazy. The bumper is one piece, the fenders are one piece, and it's all color matched the way that you guys normally expect it. And honestly, it does look good. Actually, I think, you know, I still am not 100% sold on like paint matched fenders. If it's gonna be paint matched, I like the way that this fender is just actually like built in. But how does that world look like where the prices on these WRXs are going up and people feel like they're not getting enough, and now they introduce, let's say, a wagon for a premium price, let's say $36,000. Would you get a Levorg, or in this case a WRX Wagon, if you had the opportunity to do so, knowing well that it still is going to come with a CVT? I know that there's people out there that like the SPT and they buy the GT and all that stuff. I'm not hating on you guys. I know this is something that people hate on a lot, automatic versus manual. I personally would not mind one. Like, if I could get a second car, because I really want to get a second car next year, and I want something that has a little bit more room, a little bit more practical, a little more daily friendly, and I was looking at some sort of wagon. Actually, I'll tell you right now, I'll be totally honest with you. If this doesn't come out, I'm buying a Tribeca. I'm buying a B9 Tribeca here in St. Louis, and I'm gonna lift it, and that's gonna be my daily, and that's the car I'm gonna use to tow this car, or my WRX whenever I need to go places. So you can quote me on it. I am getting a Tribeca. I don't care what anybody says. That's going to be my next car. But if that isn't the case, and this actually does come to America, this would be a strong contender of something that I would genuinely get, even if it has SPT, because as we all know, it's going to be tunable. You know Cobb is going to tune this thing, right? It's got the 2.4 in it. And I would hope that if they do bring this car to America, that it is not the 1.8 version, which it's fine, you know, but it's not what we would want. We would want the 2.4 engine in there. Now, if it is a turbo engine, a 1.8 turbo, maybe Cobb will figure out how to tune that thing and give it over 200 horsepower, which actually would be pretty cool. But just the fact that, it's a slight possibility that the wagon is coming, what do you guys think? Would you be interested in a Levorg here in America? And if it came here, would you buy one? And why would you buy one? Or why wouldn't you buy it? Tell me down below in the comments what you guys think. You guys know my opinions. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it was informative, and I'll see you guys in the next one.